the rivers of...
So this courtyard is Babylon. And you might have heard of Babylon, hanging gardens and all of that sort of stuff. It's the Babylon in the Bible. Babylon impacts on your life every single day, every hour, every minute, and every second. And if you ever wondered how, well, I'm going to tell you a story. Babylon sits between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, that magnificent fertile valley that comes running down through Iraq, that was the foundation of human civilization. The Sumerian culture, the Mesopotamian culture. You still have on your visa when you're coming into Iraq, welcome to Mesopotamia. I think that's cool. Babylon goes all the way back to 1900 BC, so more or less as far before Jesus Christ as we are today after Jesus Christ. At one point, this was the largest city in the world with north of 200,000 people living here. This, a bit like when I went to Merv and Mary and Samarkand, used to be the great center, amazing part of the world, which is now just a ruin. Now these ruins here are slowly being excavated and discovered. A lot of the buildings here were unbaked bricks, so didn't survive through history. Some archaeologists would say that what you see around me now is a desecration because it's the rebuild from Saddam Hussein in the 1970s. Babylon reached its height in the Third Empire of Ur. I just like it, the Third Empire of Ur. It gives it a sort of exotic sound, as if Babylon needs any more exoticism. So Babylon gets its name from Bab-il, the ancient gate of the gods. Here's another controversy. Some historians say it was never actually called Babylon. So this part of Babylon was originally built around about 600 BC by Nebuchadnezzar II. And he wrote on the back of a number of the bricks here that he built this town and he's the great king. When Saddam Hussein rebuilt this, he wrote on some bricks that he's also a great king and he is the grandson or the great-great-great-great-grandson of Nebuchadnezzar, which is not true. Now, Babylon is most famous for the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. They haven't found out exactly where the Hanging Gardens were, or whether they actually really existed or were just a Hellenic legend. But the legend goes that King Nebuchadnezzar II built the Hanging Gardens for his wife Amethyst. The reason that it was regarded as the seventh great wonder of the ancient world is because it wasn't just a garden. An hanging garden was meaning a great staged garden, like an artificial hill that had been built out of the desert with an incredible series of aqueducts and irrigation to keep the gardens alive. So think about it, you come out of the remote desert and then you find this artificial hill built with this amazing garden and amazing aquaculture as part of it. And that's why it was listed as the seventh great wonder. So how is it that the Babylonians still impact on your life every second, every minute, every 24-hour day? Have you ever wondered why our counting system, the decimal system, 10, 100, 1000, centimetre, metre, kilometre, is all based on 10, but time, 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 12 hours, 24 hours, 12 months? Well, that's because the counting system based here in Sumeria and Babylon was the sexadecimal system, a 60 base. And why did they pick that? Because if you think of angles, 180 degrees, 360 degrees, mathematics, astronomy, the fact that you had a 60 base counting system was far more divisible by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, so you could have a lot more variation in your gradients. 60 base system is why we have 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 24 hours, 12 months. So in fact, the system based here in the Sumerian culture between the mighty Euphrates and the Tigris River here in Babylon still impacts on you every second of every day. So this is a reconstruction of the throne room of the old king of Babylon. And this is Ibrahim, my guide. I'm calling him the new king of Babylon.
I hope.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
So how do they know this is the throne room of the kings? Well, up on the bricks here, these are the original bricks, and you can see the newer bricks above it. You can see the line there. But there, on that brick there, is the cuneiform text that tells us that this is the throne room of the kings. And this are the old bricks, and they're the new ones, original and Saddam. The other thing about this room, as being the throne room of the king of Babylon, is it's said to be the room that Alexander the Great died. You know how much I love Alexander the Great, and apparently his death was caused by malaria by the time he got here. He got sick down around about Pakistan and started wandering back, but this is where he died. While it is a little bit disappointing that Saddam Hussein did a poor reconstruction, you can actually see quite easily the difference between the real bricks here and the reconstructed bricks here. Let me show you something else that's interesting here. You can see the black on top of the original bricks. That's because the bricks were protected by bitumen. Bitumen that we see on our roads is actually naturally forming and exists in a lake on the other side of Iraq. So they brought the bitumen here from the lakes to protect their bricks. The Babylonians were some of the first to develop bitumen streets, and out the front here is the processional street through which, or down which, victorious armies would march, getting applauded either side. So this is the reconstruction of the Iftar Gate. Now the god Murdoch has a lion's front leg and eagle's back leg, the body of a fish and the head of a dragon, symbolizing that it is part of all of animals and sees everything. The real gate's just down there. I'll take you to it, and I'll take you to some examples of the two gods that are still visible in the original brick. And this is Saddam Hussein's summer palace overlooking the city of Babylon. Saddam built this palace overlooking ancient Babylon as part of his dream to be the new king of Babylon, spending what would have been millions to have this built. The grand total number of nights he spent staying here was 0. And this is the mighty Euphrates River. I love that whole notion of Tigris and Euphrates valleys feeding and being the birth of human civilization. And this is the Euphrates, next to which sits Babylon. And next to the Tigris sits Baghdad. So let's go to Baghdad.